Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a great weekend so far. Everyone, in this class we are looking at IELTS speaking part 2. We will be looking for that band 9 accuracy. And just as we get going here, this class is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. You should definitely visit our website there. It is an excellent way to improve your communication and your band scores. Our website looks like this with the blue background. You can click this big red button here to join the premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and as you'll notice, we are a British Council IELTS Test Registration Center, and we've got lots and lots of success stories. We help thousands of students every single day. You can read all of their genuine testimonials right here. And we are very, very proud of that. For the general IELTS, you can check us out at IELTShelp.com. It's the green background. And again, just click that big red button. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access. So again, those websites will help you to improve your communication and your English for the IELTS exams. You can also install our apps, Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help, from your app store. They link to the website so you can learn from your mobile phone through the app or through the website. It's really cool. And if you have questions about the IELTS, or if you have questions about English, you can just simply send me an email. It's my name, Adrian, at aehelp.com. Hi Harwinder, hi Buckrut, welcome members. This is a members chat class. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch. There's lots of learning to be had. And in a little bit, in about 90 minutes, we will have an all chat class for speaking part 3, where everybody can join in on the chat. So make sure to stick around and improve your speaking. Okay, so we've got lots of classes, November 12th to November 20th. We've got lots of classes for you. We've adjusted our hours to daylight savings here in North America. Daylight savings means that we changed our clocks. We turned them back an hour, gaining 1 hour. So classes are 13:30 to 14:30 and 15 to 16 o'clock according to universal time. Okay, it's coordinated, universal coordinated time, all right, or GMAT time. No classes tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, that's usual, and then we're going to have lots of classes from the 17th to the 20th, and we're going to bring you some new exciting classes next week as well, but I'm going to keep that a secret to keep you excited about what's going on with that. But there's going to be some interesting twists and turns in these live classes. Welcome Jyoti. Hi Harmali, nice to see more of you in the class. Harmali, I'm sorry to read that you're stuck at 6.5, but I'm going to help you get unstuck and get higher band scores today for the speaking section. Okay everyone, so we're looking at IELTS speaking part 2 right now, the cue card, all right? And this is a speaking class, everyone, so make sure to speak and repeat. So copy my sentences, my intonation, my energy, okay? So as some of you have probably noticed, I'm a pretty energetic person, and it's good to bring that kind of energy into your studies and into the IELTS exam. So you want to be energetic. Being energetic also means that you're being confident, okay? High output, all right? Show lots of confidence. Hi, Abu Kaiser. Nice to have you on board from Bangladesh. Okay. Asma, yeah, absolutely. Hang in there, and you're going to get to be part of some pretty innovative and new classes as we keep evolving. All right, so speaking part 2, it's 3 minutes total, okay? And your speaking interview is about 12 minutes. So speaking part 2, it takes up about 25% of your total speaking interview, right? 3 minutes of 12 minutes, 25%. It's the most important 25%, okay? So speaking part 2 is the most important 25% of your interview time. It will have the greatest impact on your overall speaking score. Keep that in mind, okay? Because it is directly related to part 3, and we're going to do part 3 a little bit later today, so you will see how and why, okay? All right, so for speaking part 3, you need to be really, really well prepared, okay? And there are some very standard steps that you should practice getting ready for speaking part 2 and implementing during your speaking, okay? So it's kind of like a recipe, like step 1, step 2, step 3, and you just really need to do this, okay? So you need to be calm, you need to be collected, you need to have good ideas for part 2. Part 2 is a cue card. I'm gonna move this to the next page so you see it all in one go here. So part 2 is a cue card like this, okay? So when you get to part 2, your examiner sitting across from you at the table is going to look at you and they will say, okay, that is the end of speaking part 1. Now we will continue with speaking part 2. For this part, I'm going to show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these questions, think about your answers, and then you will have 2 minutes to speak. You see there is some note paper there beside you, and you have your pen. You can take notes in this 1 minute if you wish. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. And then they show you the card with the questions. Usually there's 4 to 6 questions on the card. You have to prepare a mini speech in response. And just as you get going, the last step for the examiner is the examiner will introduce the topic of the card. So the examiner will say, talk about a famous invention. Okay, so they'll say, talk about a famous invention. And then you need to talk about a famous invention. Okay, so you have 1 minute to read this card. And there are some very important steps that you need to go through. What is the first step? So when you see this cue card, what's the first step? So step number 1, it's very, very important that you do this. All right, anybody know? So they introduce it, talk about a famous invention. Step number 1, you do this. What do you do? All right, let me know. What do you do? Well, hopefully you have the same idea as me. You read the question carefully. And you do it twice, okay? You must make sure to answer all of the questions on the card and stay on topic. Okay, so that's what you have to do. Yeah, that's right, Jyoti. So you have to read the question twice, okay? All right, so let's do that now, students. Let's read this cue card question twice, okay? Read with me. So talk about a famous invention. You should say, what is the invention and how it works? Who invented it and when? Why is this invention important? One more time. Talk about a famous invention. What is the invention and how does it work? Who invented it and when? Why is this invention important? Okay, so now I've got a clear idea of this question. Now my second step is to identify the category of this question. Okay, so identify the category and the tense. Okay, so category and tense. All right, what do I mean by category, right? Some of you are probably thinking, like, what do I mean by category? Abu, computer, mobile phone would not be good choices. I see Abu Kaiser saying computer, mobile phone. Those are not good choices. I'm going to explain why, okay, in a minute. There's something interesting that I'm going to teach you with that, Abu. But I would not choose a computer and I would not choose a mobile phone. And you're going to see why I wouldn't choose those answers in just a moment, okay? So we're going to identify the category and the tense of this question, and when you're practicing this at home, you're going to be able to do this very quickly in your 1 minute preparation time. So this step 1, step 2 is in your 1 minute preparation time, okay? This is what you have to do, all right? Aniket, Facebook may be also not a very good choice. I'm going to show you why, okay? All right. Okay, so here we go. In IELTS, for speaking part 2, there's usually 5 categories that part 2 may be about, okay? So part 2 could be about a person, so talking about a person. It could be talking about an object. It could be talking about an event, a situation, okay? You might be talking about a place, or you could be talking about an idea. Okay, so those are kind of the different topics. Now, sometimes it's a combination. Okay. It's a combination of 2. Okay. All right. So in this situation, talking about a famous invention, okay, which of these topics is the main one? So which of these categories? Are we talking about a person? Are we talking about an object? Are we talking about a place, an idea? So which of these is the main one, okay? Mohammed, they're all equally difficult. It just depends how much you practice each of these. Yeah, very good, Bakrat. So this is an object. That's right, Asma. That's right, Harwinder. This is an object. So here we are talking about an object, okay, which is a famous invention. Now, we will be talking a little bit about maybe a person who invented it, right? The event of the invention, but mainly we're talking about an object. And when we talk about an object, what should we talk about? Okay, so what should we include? Okay, so when communicating well about an object to our listener, what should we include? Okay, and how should we structure this? Okay, all right. So before we get into answers, Harwinder, but that's a much better choice, then we want to think about this. So when we're talking about an object, if I want to tell a person about an invention is a really good one for this. What should we talk about? Jyoti says, when talking about an object, We should include the appearance of the object, the function of the object, the significance. And there's one missing, Jyoti. Okay, you have one missing there. Okay. Atmal says we should include the history of the object. Yeah, so instead of the history, Mal, you should include the origin. That's right, Bakrat. So the origin of the object. Where does the object come from, right? So if we talk about an object, to clearly talk about an object, we want to talk about its appearance, what it looks like. We want to talk about its origin, where it comes from. We want to talk about its function, which means how it works, and its significance, which means its utility or its usefulness, okay? So those are in that order, okay? So in this order. All right. Okay, very good. Now, the tense. So we need to figure out the tense of this question. So talk about an object. What is the invention? How does it work? Who invented it? Why is the invention important? What tense are we going to use mostly in this speaking part 2? So what verb tense, based on the questions, do we need to use for this part 2 cue card? Okay, what do you think? So if I read this cue card, what kind of a tense do I have to use? Okay, Harwinder says mainly present, continuous, past. Satish says past. Yeah. So I would say for this example, we need present, present continuous, present perfect, and past. So these are the mostly the important ones. Okay, and Harmail says maybe some past perfect as well. Yeah, maybe some past perfect as well. So yeah, I agree. Okay. Present perfect, we have to use because it shows achievement. Okay. Present perfect means it happened before, it's happening now, into the future. Present perfect is really important here because we're talking about an invention, and an invention is always an achievement for humans. When we talk about achievements, we often use present perfect. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. So in English, present perfect is used when talking about an achievement, okay, to emphasize that experience. All right, very good. Okay, so now we can go to step 3. So step 3 means, what is that? Anybody know what step 3 is? There's some students that are in the class often. So what is the third step that you have to practice and that you have to do during your 1-minute preparation time? And of course, again, this is all happening very fast because you learned it, you practiced it, it's in your head. So what's the next step here? Okay, Jainil says 2 to 3 ideas. Yeah, not the first sentence yet, Harwinder. We're not there yet. First, you have to come up with 2 to 3 good ideas. 3 good ideas for this cue card. Okay, do not just think of one idea because you may get into a difficult situation. Okay, so keep in mind, students, your ideas should be original, easy to talk about, and lots of information. Okay, so for this one, and I know a couple people said mobile phone and computer. So again, the cue card here is talk about an invention. Okay, so computer and mobile phone and even COVID vaccine would not be good choices. Would not be good choices. Why? Okay, and you're going to see when we come up with some good choices for this cue card, you're going to see, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, wow, that's a way better choice to talk about it for a couple of minutes, okay? So why would computer, mobile phone, or COVID-19 vaccine not be good choices, okay? All right. And again, here's the original cue card for those of you just joining in. So talk about a famous invention. You should say what the invention is, how it works, who invented it, and when. Why is this invention important, okay? So Janelle says the reason why these would not be good choices is, number one, they're too common. Yeah, too many students would probably choose to talk about mobile phone. I always tell students, don't even choose mobile phone to talk about, because just way too many students pick that, and it's awkward, and examiners get tired of people talking about their mobile phones, and it's difficult to get a high band score, okay? Satish, robot is a category. It's not a specific invention, okay? So also, it's not just that it's too common, but these are complex. So they're also difficult to talk about, okay? A mobile phone is a computer, all right? It's a type of computer. The COVID-19 vaccine is very complex. It's very difficult to talk about. You have to know lots of medical terms to clearly talk about culturing a vaccine and RNA vaccines, especially, which are kind of new to the world. So these would be difficult to talk about. So don't put yourself into a tricky situation with your choice where you choose an idea that everybody's talking about and it's difficult to talk about. Don't do that. So we've got, you know, some other really good ideas here, okay? So Pantisha says, how about electric bulbs? Yeah, so light bulb, that was one that was already suggested by another student today, and I think light bulb would be a good choice, okay? Fountain pen, all right, Janelle says fountain pen, or even a ballpoint pen, if you know it. Sure, fountain pen, ballpoint pen. Washing machine, Mohammed, very good. Yeah, I think a washing machine could be a good one as well, okay? Now, again, make sure that you know how to talk about it. Satish, robot would not be good, okay? So, robot would not be good because it is complex and it is a category, not one invention. And I'll show you what I mean. Satish, the washing machine is a type of robot, okay? So in English, a washing machine would be considered a type of robot. Anything that's an automaton, so it's automated, it uses electricity to move and to function and to produce a function, would be considered a robot. So a washing machine is a type of robot in your home. Sure, it doesn't walk around and it doesn't go to your fridge to get you a glass of juice, and it doesn't talk to you, but it's still considered a robot, all right? So careful to choose something specific, okay? So it should be original, easy to talk about, lots of information, and specific, okay, in some sense, okay? Harmal, a microwave could be a good choice. That's a type of robot too, right? Okay. Asma says maybe let's go to something simple like the wheel, right? Yeah, Asma, that's not a bad one. Another one that could be a good one if you're thinking about the wheel. Yeah, you just thought about it, Harwinder, at the same time, is even fire, okay? So you could even go with fire. Fire being considered one of the earliest inventions or discoveries of man, and definitely of great importance to humans. Okay, Harmal says maybe a LED television. That could be good too. Okay, all right. So let's just choose one. We're going to choose the light bulb. Okay, so let's go with the light bulb. Okay, our choice here is the light bulb. All right, so now we need some notes. Okay. All right, and for the notes, always create useful notes. So write down useful notes that you wouldn't otherwise think of. Write notes that will help you speak more and speak fluently. Okay, so light bulb. Remember what we said before, everyone? So we're talking about an invention, and Alina, nice, microscope. So now a lot of you are thinking about good ones, okay? The beach is not an invention, Helen. So here, again, the IELTS cue card is this here. So talk about a famous invention. You should say what is the invention and how it works, who invented it and when. Why is this invention important? You will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about this topic. Okay, so very quickly in this 1 minute, it's only taking us a few seconds. We read the question twice. We realized, okay, we're talking about an object and we're using the past, present, present perfect tense. I thought about light bulb, electricity, the wheel, fire, airplane, car, train. Okay, and I go, all right, I think I can talk about the light bulb effectively for 2 minutes. Now I'm going to write down some useful notes that will help me to expand on what I'm going to say. Okay. So Rajveer, you just saw the question. Okay, so I know I have to talk about the appearance. Okay, I have to talk about its function, how it works. Okay, I have to talk about its origin before its function. Okay, and I have to talk about its significance. All right, okay. So all of these I need to talk about, and I don't need to write all these down in my notes. Now in my notes, I might just write down something like, if I remember, appearance, origin, function. Instead of writing down appearance, I might just write down A in my notes, and then instead of origin, O in my notes. Okay. And instead of function, you got the hang of this now, F, and instead of significance, S in my notes. Okay. And then appearance. What does a light bulb look like? Okay, so give me some words describing the appearance of a light bulb. Okay, what does it look like? So the appearance of it. Okay, and just go with a traditional classic light bulb. If you don't know some words, that's okay. Don't use them. Don't talk about them. You can talk a lot about a light bulb. I'm sure many of you have seen a light bulb. Rajveer says it's oval. Sure. Oval shape. Sure. Oval, circular. Oval is a good vocabulary. Oval kind of means like circular, right? Or round. If you don't know the word oval, you can say round. Okay. Give me some other words to describe. Like, let's say I'm an alien from another planet with my little ears. Tell me about the light bulb. I don't know anything about it. I only use candles. Okay, Harwinder says antennas inside, yeah. And antennas in plural form are antennae, okay? Let's see. Nope, there it is. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. So plural for antenna, singular, antennae is plural, and there's antennae because there's two of them, right? Rajveer says they're not antennae, they're filaments. If you say metal antennae, you'll get some points for that for sure. Okay. Buckrat says they're about 15 centimeters, 30 grams. Yeah, they come in different shapes and sizes, right? So you can say different shapes. Not all are the same, right? Okay, Amal says clear glass. Yeah, sometimes it's smoke glass as well, right? Okay, so now you're getting lots of ideas. Okay. Okay, lights yellow, white, other colors, metal base. All right. Yeah, good. Okay, so don't get too carried away with the appearance, all right? You don't want to spend too much time on the appearance. So many of you are realizing, oh gosh, I could talk about a light bulb just the way that it looks for 2 minutes, right? So don't do that. Only spend about, I would say on the appearance, only spend about 15 seconds talking about this, okay? Okay, don't talk about that more because you have to answer everything else. Okay, origin. So where does a light bulb come from? Okay, so where does the light bulb come from? Yeah, Mohammed, it's made of glass. It's colorful. Now, I probably wouldn't write down made of glass because that's something that we know, right? So we're probably going to say that without needing our notes. So in your notes, you should only be writing down notes that you don't automatically think about, okay? All right, Janelle says 0 to 100 watts. Yeah, so there's a lot of, uses electricity. That's going to be part of the function, Janelle. So where does the light bulb come from? Okay, tell me this. And I think most of you know this, but if you don't, that's fine. You don't have to tell the truth. So you can say John Smith invented it. You might get a smile from the examiner, but they're not going to say, oh, that's wrong information. Satish says it's Albert Einstein. In fact, it was not Albert Einstein. The person accredited is Thomas Edison. Yeah, Jyoti Harwinder and Janelle say it's Thomas Edison. Yeah, we even have the Edison bulb. It's a very popular kind of light bulb these days for many people in their homes, the Edison bulbs. Yeah, so it's Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, what do you think? Where is he from? Janelle says it's 1874. Yeah, late 1800s. Okay, so if you don't know that it's 1874, you're going to know it's 1800s. Buckrat, it's not the 18th century. It's actually the 19th century. But again, that's fine. Yeah, British. Okay, he's a British guy. Okay. All right. Now, where can I get the light bulb from today? Okay, so this is where you want to think outside the box. And when you think about origin, yeah, you can think about the inventor, of course, and you can think about when, right? You're answering the questions on the cue card. Where? Annie Cronenberg says he failed 99 times. That's a famous story. And he failed 99 times. Yeah, so it exploded, it broke, he failed a lot of times. Okay, and where can I get the light bulb from now? Janelle says he failed 999 times. Yeah, exactly. There's a famous saying by Edison, if I fail 1,000 times, I know 1,000 ways not to do it. Okay, so, yeah, and again, so where can we get the light bulb from today? Mohammed, you can always make it up. Again, the IELTS is not about the truth, right? So you can make it up. Oh, there we go. Rajveer says convenience store. So convenience store, hardware store. All right, sure. Okay, let's jump to the function. How does it function? Okay, so how does it function, the light bulb? Electricity, heat, light gas, okay, bright light. So I'm just going to write that. if I were writing my notes in the exam and I were sitting here and you're my examiner, you would see me write these down. Okay, electricity, there's heat, there's a spark, the wire or the metal antennae, the filaments, they heat the gas lights up and it becomes bright. And please, students, don't start talking about LEDs and other types of light technology. I know that there are different types of light bulbs, but just choose the classic light bulb, okay? Don't get too fancy, all right? And you have to fit it into its socket, the light socket, okay? Yeah, very good, Asma. So Asma says fits in the holder. Asma, you twist into socket, okay? Twist it into the socket, all right? Okay, and why is it important? Okay, so of course we're going to remember that it can create light so we can see in the dark, okay? So, but why is that important? Okay, so we can work and we can have fun in the dark, all right? And it's very bright compared to candles. All right. Okay, so good. Now we can begin our response to this cue card. Before the examiner says your 1 minute preparation time is up. So before the examiner says your 1 minute preparation time is up, please begin speaking. You must have your first sentence ready so you can start right away. Strong. Okay. So again, here we go, students. The question, okay, it's talk about a famous invention. What is the invention? How does it work? Who invented it when? Why is this invention important? So this is our cue card, okay? So this is our cue card. There we go. That's our cue card right there. Now we need to have the first sentence ready for this one here. So give me the first sentence, okay? And this is the start of your speech, okay? All right. Yeah, Annie, very good. So people can be more productive, of course, right? We need the light bulb. So we're not restricted by the daylight hours when the sun is up or when the sun is down. Absolutely. Okay, so give me the first sentence. And students, make sure your first sentence is very direct. Okay, so don't say things like, thank you for giving me the opportunity, or don't say things like, there are a lot of different inventions throughout human history, including the train, the computer, the mobile phone. But the one that I would like to talk about today is, don't do that, okay? That will waste time and you will actually not get as high of a band score. You can get a much higher band score by just being super direct, okay? So Rajveer really enjoyed that introduction to the inventions of humanity. Yeah, so just start directly, right? Don't introduce the scientific history of humans. That's not what this question's asking. It says, yeah, it's a horrible thing, Rajveer, because IELTS examiners know that that's just some ridiculous trick to improve fluency in a false way. So that's not the answer, right? The question's not asking you to list the different inventions of humanity. It's asking you to talk about a famous invention, one, okay? Yeah, so don't do that. Yeah, absolutely, Rajveer. I mean, I got a band 9 in my IELTS speaking, and I definitely didn't start listing things and thanking the examiner for giving me the opportunity to speak. The examiner didn't give me the opportunity to speak. I paid for it. It cost me like $300 for that IELTS exam. So I paid for the opportunity to be there, and I'm just going to speak. So give me that first sentence. I'm going to give you the first sentence for myself, and then we'll compare, okay? So All right, that's my first sentence, just keeping it clean and direct, okay? And again, students, this is a speaking class, so make sure to speak and repeat after me. So here we go. My first sentence is, one of the most famous and important inventions worldwide is the light bulb. We can find the light bulb in just about every corner of the planet, okay? So Janil says, a popular object that was invented in the later 19th century is the light bulb. Yeah, and Janil, I would say popular is an understatement. A vital object where there are billions of them produced annually worldwide, right? So Bakrat says, one of the unique inventions in history is the light bulb invented by Mr. Thomas A. Edison in the late 19th century. Very nice, Bakrat, okay? Harwinder says, one of the most important inventions in human history is the light bulb. Nice correction, Harvinder. Robin Hood says, the invention I would like to talk about is the light bulb. Robin Hood, don't even say that. So don't even say that I would like to talk about, okay? Just talk about it. You don't have to like to talk about it. You just talk about it, right? Asma says, the much needed invention which brought light to many people in dark times is the electric light bulb. Beautiful, Asma, I like it, okay? Mal says, I will talk about one of the most used inventions, the common light bulb. That works too, Mal. Yeah. And again, Mal, it's just better to talk about it. Don't say I will talk about, just talk about it, right? So one of the most famous and important inventions worldwide is the light bulb. And now all we have to do is go through basically the order of our notes. So first we talk about the appearance. What it looks like, right? So think about your listener like an alien and include as much information as you can. If you get stuck, look at your notes, okay? So this is a small round-shaped object. In fact, it's shaped just like a pear. Okay, if you know the word pear, you know the fruit, the pear, a light bulb looks like a pear, and we actually say it's pear-shaped. Okay, so this is a small round-shaped object. In fact, it's shaped just like a pear, made mostly of transparent glass with a metal base. It has a couple of metal filaments inside, and it is filled with a type of gas. Now, I don't know what kind of gas. It's an incandescent type of gas, but I don't know what type of gas they use in light bulbs. I'm not a light bulb expert. It doesn't matter. You can still get band 9, okay? You don't need to tell the examiner what kind of gas it has inside, okay? All right, so students, right here, so do this with me, okay? So keep writing sentences that you think you would say in these cases, all right? And I'm going to look at the chat, and I'm going to keep reading what you're writing, okay? So, all right. Historians believe that the electric light bulb was invented by the British inventor Thomas Edison in the late 1800s. Okay. So that answers the when and the where question on the cue card, okay? So Mal, Asma, Harwinder, Robin Hood, Mohammed, Satish, keep writing what you would write, okay? Don't just pay attention to me, so express yourself. Asma says, this small object is made up of fragile glass. It is pear-shaped, also has metal at the bottom. which is connected to a pair of filaments. This brilliant idea popped into the mind of the British inventor Thomas Alva Edison. Very nice, Asma. Very nice writing and composition. Okay. So the way the light bulb works is it has to be screwed into a socket, which passes electricity through the metal components, which in turn ignite the gas that is contained in the glass, and this gas then illuminates with a bright white or yellow light. Okay, so again, using your own words, right? It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. Use your own words to describe how the light bulb works. Buckrat says it is a round-shaped object and consists of an aluminum sheet covered by the tail. It's around 15 centimeters long and 30 grams. Yeah, good, Buckrat. So I didn't talk about its size, but you did. And if I forgot to talk about its size, I might talk about that later on. Okay, all right. So the light bulb has been a revolutionary invention which has helped shape the course of modern history, because it has enabled people around the world to be less limited by daylight hours. What I mean is that people can now work and play even after the sun has set, simply by turning on a light bulb. Even though the candle served a similar purpose before the light bulb, it simply wasn't nearly as efficient because it wasn't, or it isn't, as bright or long-lasting. Now, offices and factories can operate around the clock simply by turning on the lights. Okay? All right, so that would be my response to this cue card question. And then if I have more time, I could go back and look at my notes and see what I missed and talk even more about it. Like, I could start talking about how people these days can buy light bulbs from a convenience store or a hardware store just about anywhere. Okay? Asma, don't use the word things. So Asma says this object needs to be twisted into a holder, which is connected to the electric wire. And just with a press of a switch, it ignites and illuminates its surroundings or the place. Yeah, absolutely, Asma. That's very good. Okay, so this is what you want to practice. All right, students, check it out. So again, here is the original cue card question. IELTS Speaking Part 2. Talk about a famous invention. You should say, what is the invention and how it works? Who invented it and when? Why is this invention important? Okay, I'm sure that I answered all of these questions, which is really good. Okay. Now, repeat after me, everyone. So, Here we go. This is my answer. So the examiner says, okay, Adrian, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. And we begin. So repeat after me. One of the most famous and important inventions worldwide is the light bulb. This is a small round-shaped object. In fact, it's shaped just like a pear and made mostly of transparent glass with a metal base. It has a couple of metal filaments inside and it's filled with a type of gas. Historians believe that the electric light bulb was invented by the British inventor Thomas Edison in the late 1800s. The way the light bulb works is it has to be screwed into a socket which passes electricity through the metal components, which in turn ignites the gas that is contained in the glass. And this gas then illuminates with a bright yellow or white light. The light bulb has been a revolutionary invention which has helped shape the course of modern history because it has enabled people around the world to be less limited by daylight hours. What I mean is that people can now work and play even after the sun has set, simply by turning on a light bulb. Even though the candle served a similar purpose before the light bulb, it simply wasn't nearly as efficient because it isn't as bright or long-lasting. Now, offices and factories can operate around the clock simply by turning on the lights. Okay, all right. Okay, Bakrat says the major role of electricity to light a bulb when it passes from the node sheet to filament. It ignites into a yellow color. Rajveer says, one of my acquaintances told me that if you want 9 bands in writing, then you have to write 600 plus words. No, that's not true, Rajveer. You don't need to write that long. Harwinder says it has to be pushed and twisted, then let it go to plug into a socket. After that, the electrical supply glows like a glowworm. Yeah, nice, Harwinder. Students, it's difficult to describe how something functions, so I would highly recommend practicing that at home, describing how a piece of machinery works. Okay? All right. Okay, so here is my answer to this question. And then the examiner will now say, okay, your 2 minutes is up. Stop there. I will now ask you a question related to your response and some questions on this topic. Let's continue with part 3. And we're going to do part 3 very, very soon here. Before we do part 3, again, I'm just going to jump back to our websites here. This is General IELTS here. This is our Academic IELTS website here. And when you have access, you can access your My Student account. This is after you join the premium course. And in your premium course, you have this full online academic IELTS course. In that, you will find the speaking section lessons. And I think maybe in part B, you'll find speaking part 2. Yeah, exactly. So speaking section strategies for part 1, part 2, part 3. Okay. And here, you're going to see strategies for how to effectively do or how to effectively respond to speaking part 2 when you're talking about a person. So describing a person. Describing a place, okay, location, appearance, history, function, describing an object, okay. So you have all of this here with examples. So for those of you who have access to our premium IELTS package, make sure to use this. So check out the full course and the speaking part for the full course, okay? All right. Okay, everyone. So that's it for speaking part 2. I will be back in 30 minutes with speaking part 3. So make sure to join me for that. And again, to get lots of help, join our premium IELTS packages at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. where you can get lots and lots of videos, practice exams, and much, much more. Hope you enjoyed this lesson, everyone, and hope we all appreciate the light bulb more than ever, especially for those of you where it's still dark, like where I am. I'm using a light bulb right now. All right, everyone, I will be back in half an hour. Take a short break, get a glass of water, stretch your legs, and I will see you soon. I'm Adrian, signing out from Victoria for now. Okay, and again, make sure to visit our websites. There they are again, aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com. Okay, part 3 coming up shortly.